Hello, Internet! Welcome, Free-to-Play Cast, episode 55, brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. It's that time again. We do it once a week. I'm magicman, your host. I've got my guy friends with me. Last week was ladies. This week it's all gents. Let's turn it over to Brim. How are you?
Oh, guy friends? I don't know if I'm comfortable with that word.
How about friends who happen to be male?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll go with
I am glad to be back, man. I was starting to think that your New Year's resolution was to keep me off the show.
Well, I don't know. The live show, when you drop an A-bomb on a host rather than something free-to-play related, everybody all of a sudden thinks you're Havoc.
She'll get over it.
Well, she bombed you last week, so it's all right. Also on the line, Sajiro. Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year's, everybody.
So what's going on in the life of Sajiro? We were hoping for the lady friend to show up on the live show. That didn't pan out. Everything's still good on that front?
Everything's good with that. She is actually out watching Les Miserables. I managed to sneak out on that one because I said, I got to record the show tonight.
You were like, oh, honey, I free-to-play cast, got to do it, sorry.
No, everything was going good. She was here on the free-to-play cast when we did the live show, but she was hiding in the living room.
Ah, all right. Well, let's get to the news. We only got 2 topics today, but that's because probably both of them are going to run a little bit long. So let's get right to it and slide over to the news. All right, so obviously a big topic this week, Warframe by Digital Extremes. Went to closed beta. The NDA, however, is gone, so if you've been playing it for a while, you can talk about it now. We put up a dual commentary first look this week with Spunkify and myself. That's getting a lot of positive feedback, drawing a lot of attention to the game. Everybody on the line, I know, Brim, you've played it. Sajiro, have you played this one yet?
I have not played it yet. I have been busy playing other games at the moment.
All right, and the second topic is you're the resident expert on today, so then just you'll speak to some of the stuff you saw maybe on the first look and some thoughts. Brim, you and I will handle the actual in-game commentary. It's kind of a sci-fi, third-person shooter action type game. There is some melee in there, so I kind of got the feel of like a Left 4 Dead type game. We did the co-op first look. Brim, you've played. Let's just start talking about the game. Overall, your first impressions, pros and cons. Let's start there.
Overall, first time playing it this morning, off and on all day because I had work and whatnot. I love this game. It's fantastic graphically. It's very smooth for a closed beta, I think.
It's definitely well optimized, yeah.
Yeah, it's all around great game. I have not had a chance to look at too much of the cast shop. I like the way your gear levels up, your person levels up. Messed around with God, I can't think what they're called now. 2 different play styles.
2 different frames.
Yeah,
for Warframe.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I kind of agree. I mean, we had a blast in the first look. I've been playing it since then as well. I mainly roll around with the Excalibur frame, which is kind of like the well-balanced if you're a beginner type frame, because I didn't know what to expect. So, but yeah, you're right with the leveling up of the Warframe itself, and then the leveling up and skilling up of each individual weapon as you use it. They gain experience. Then we didn't even cover this in the first look, the whole ability to buy the Pro Pack and expand those skill trees for every single weapon and frame to make it even more powerful was, all in all, I definitely enjoyed the game. I do have some concerns. We'll get into that in a minute. I'd like to get the perspective, though, Sajiro. You haven't played the game. You've just checked out footage and commentary and things like that. What are your thoughts, just based on like a marketing and the way the game looks? Is it something you would play? What does it remind you of? Where's your thoughts? I like it so far. I'm into the zombie survivor games right now. If I'm not playing a MOBA, and I know, I'm a big League of Legends and a Dota fan, but if I'm not playing that, I've been playing DayZ, I've been playing other games. I like Left 4 Dead, but I like these games where
it's not just you versus the world, it's you versus everything else.
Yeah, and you're in small groups. It's just you and a couple of friends into one group, or you can be dropped into. Let me talk to you about this, Brim. I have concerns for the game. I agree with you that it's well optimized. Low-end systems, or lower end, I shouldn't say low. I mean, it's not going to run on a toaster, but lower systems aren't going to have too much of a problem with it. There's some effects that if you don't like, you can turn off. And it runs well, it plays well, it's fun. I do have a couple of concerns, and I'd like to get your take on these. One, I don't like the revive system.
Really?
I don't like you only get 4 revives, then you got to start spending currency to get more revives. I do like that, obviously, your friends can bring you up before you actually have to use one of those revives, so that's cool. But I think limiting the number of revives and then making it a purchasable item with your currencies there, I mentioned this on the first look, I don't think it encourages you to just jump into groups of strangers and play. I think if there's that currency riding on the fact that, riding on your ability to revive, you're more likely to only stick to groups of, me, you, Sajiro, and Spunkify grouping up together because we know each other and we work well together and all that stuff. I just think it kind of discourages actually jumping into a random group of strangers. Am I nuts?
I see where you're coming from, but I really didn't get that impression at all. I didn't have a total issue with the currency. It resets like every week or something? Is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know the exact reset times.
I think 4 revives is a little low. Because you can go through that in a day. But yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. But no, I didn't get the impression that I would only want to be in groups that I knew.
So you're okay with jumping into, a group of total strangers?
I am.
I don't know. I just got the feeling that, since my revives were limited to a certain time frame that, I would want to hang on to those rather than spend money. I don't know. All right, fine. I'm crazy. What are we going to do? What are you going to do there?
Well, don't die.
Well... No kidding. But again, you're less likely to die in a group of us playing because we're probably on some type of chat anyway.
I don't know.
Yes, I've
seen you play first shooters.
Hey, I'm actually good at Warframe. This is third person, not first person.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I'm always in third person, baby. But yeah, I mean, you're less likely to die if you're in a group of people that you're communicating with. The game does feature a chat function. A voice function as well, and I think it kind of has to for the type of squad-based game that it is. Although we didn't test out the chat function to see exactly how it works since we were on Skype. I also have concerns with the game becoming extremely repetitive. Even though there was a variance between missions, they were, a raid mission, kill all the guys here, beat the boss here, rescue somebody here, take object A, make it through to object B, and use A on B. There was a variance of what you were actually doing in each level, but the levels had the same... They changed very little until you would swap to a new planet or a new system, and then you were doing the same missions just in a different location. I don't think the game, the way it's set up right now, is the type of game that you would sit and play for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. I think it's that hop into, play an hour, knock out some missions, open up some more systems, and then come back the next day or 2 days later.
Now that I would agree with. I think that the missions are a little short. It seems like you get in one mission, you're done with it in 5 minutes, you move on to the next planet or system or whatever. And you're right, it's a different mission, but it felt somewhat repetitive to me. As far as sitting down and playing it for 7 hours, I could probably do that myself.
Really?
I could. Now, I could probably do that the first day or so.
Okay.
But then it would turn into a game where if I don't want to play another game, it would be my fallback game. I can see that being one of those types.
I could definitely see it as a fallback game. Yeah, absolutely. Where you're hopping in because you just finished playing something else for a little while, or like Sojiro and League of Legends, right? You know, anytime he plays something else and gets a little bored, you're hopping into League of Legends for a little while. And then I could see Warframe being that. What did you think watching the first look video, Sojiro? It was, half an hour long. We did 2 or 3 missions. Your thoughts on repetitive and the mission structure from watching some videos?
I mean, they seem a little repetitive, but it's like that in every game that you play, whether it be in a MOBA, a first-person shooter, an MMO. It's, there's going to be aspects of the game that get repetitive. It's all about, is the game fun to play? Essentially what it boils down to me is the time spent fun.
It is fun.
I mean, there's times where I'll play League of Legends and be like, I want to go play one mission. And, like, it'll be a crap, It'll be one game and it's just terrible. The player base I'm playing with is bad. And it'll stress me out and I don't want to play it for a week. And then I'll get online and play. I'm going to play one game and I end up playing 4 because I win.
Right.
It's all about kind of quality of time spent playing the game. Is the game fun to play? I know that the revive thing is kind of, it kind of is a little aggravating with the fact you only get 4 and you can die easily, but it kind of makes it that much more of a challenge that you can't just run in. It's not run and gun and kill everything. You actually have to make choices on what you're going to do because there is that aspect of if you die, that's it. You got 4 revives and then you're done for the day.
Yeah, and that's kind of a good point. I mean, when you take a look at the Warframe forums, there's a whole topic on paying for revives, being a bad game mechanic, and there's a lot of people arguing back and forth that it's pay to win. I don't think it's pay to win. I mean, let's just kind of throw that one out right away. I don't think it's pay to win. Do you?
No, I don't think
not like that.
Okay.
No, I don't
so
think
the revive system doesn't make it pay to win in any of our eyes, but they do make some good points back and forth for both sides. And to Sojiro, you're making one of the points that I've seen on the forums, which was, hey, there's consequence. Deal with it. Don't revive. Start the mission over and play it a little bit better this time.
Yeah.
So there's consequence, and you like that, and I can totally see that side of the argument. But then I can see the other side of the argument that says I may be teaming with total strangers. Why am I handicapping myself, for lack of a better term, because I'm just randomly queuing up by putting a number on how many times I can come back? There's definitely pros and cons. I don't mind the revive system as a whole. I don't mind the, replenishment after a day, the buying revives with the currency. I don't mind that. I personally just think it discourages playing with strangers, and it's going to cause people to stick more to people they know. Brim?
Yeah, I can see. I mean, I would definitely rather play with people I know, but it's not.
It's just
a deal breaker.
The game's a lot more fun that way too.
Yeah, I mean, but no, the revive system is not a deal breaker for me.
I don't think it's a deal breaker for me either, but it is going to cause me to stick to playing with people that I know. Because I can anticipate what they're going to do, and we're probably on a chat that's outside of the game anyway. So, Jerry, are you going to check this one out, or is this just not your cup of tea?
No, I'm going to download it and play it. It's just something that I haven't got around to yet, but I like the aspect of it. I've actually, kind of one of the things that they have with the 4 revives is I've actually been playing Path of Exile on heroic, like hardcore mode, where when you die, that's it. Start over.
That's it.
So that's actually getting a little entertaining. So I kind of like that challenge. It's one of those things. It's like if you solo queue, you solo queue. If you jump in and with just random people, yeah, you're gonna get the guy with. You could get somebody who's really good. Or you're gonna get the guy with the, who's still on dial-up, and you're gonna get killed.
Let's play some Warframe. All right, guys, let's go. Boot up.
So what is that noise in the background? Is that a V90 motor you're running? Did I date myself?
There's probably a large percentage of our audience that has no idea what sound I was making there.
Before cell phones, we actually had to use telephone lines to get on the internet.
Yes. Yes, you had to call somebody with your computer to play play Warcraft. Warcraft 2. Yeah, so all in all, let's give it a round table here. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm going to go first. Love the game so far. If you want some female frames, they do have them currently in the beta. They're in the cash shop. I would assume that at some point they're just going to be opened up by default, but who knows? And if I remember right, you can use the in-game currency to buy them anyway. So I could be wrong on that one. Don't quote me. I'd have to go back and look. So male, female battle frames, lots of customization as far as colors, lots of colors to open up. I like the gameplay. It's smooth. The graphics are nice. Not so much of a plot right now. Not one that's worth paying attention to, besides what you're doing for each mission. Great game to play with friends. I don't know how often I'd play it with strangers. All in all, I give it a thumbs up. A big thumbs up right now, and I think it's only going to get better. Brim.
Thumbs up, 100%. Love the game all around.
You were a big fan. You were sending me Facebook messages on this one.
I was. I thought, well, you know what? We're going to come back to it later.
Uh-oh. Gee, I wonder if that's a forecast of a bomb. There were a lot of viewer weekly bombs giving Warframe da bomb. I think I only pulled one or two for the actual show here, but there was a slew of MMO bombers and free-to-play cast listeners dropping a da bomb for how awesome Warframe was. So, Jero, thumbs up, thumbs down.
I am downloading it right now. I got to get into this gameplay action that you guys are having fun with.
Well, if you're not in the beta, I'm sorry. We are all out of keys right now. Hopefully, we can get some more, snag some more from Digital Extremes. We shall see. If you're in it, hey, hit us up. Put your comments below. What do you think about the game? Let's move on. Next topic isn't exactly free-to-play, but does relate to free-to-play. So we're going to talk about it. And a ton of viewers for weeks now have been asking us to talk about this. I've kind of been avoiding it because it's not technically free-to-play, but so much has gone down that we really need to talk about how it impacts gaming as a whole, and it is semi-free-to-play related in a way. We'll get to that. The War Z, Hammerpoint Interactive. So as I said, the game is not free to play, so I'm not going to roll War Z footage over this if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening on iTunes, it doesn't matter. For you YouTubers, I'm going to put some footage of War Inc. on here, and as we go into the discussion, you'll realize, if you don't already know, why War Inc. footage is rolling. So game's not free to play. It is a pretty nasty situation, and I want to talk about what it means across the entire gaming industry when something like the War Z happens. So, are either of you, first off, are either of you DayZ players? I am. Sajiro, you've referenced DayZ, so I'm assuming you play.
Yes, I play it.
Brim, have you played?
I have not.
Okay, so if you don't know what DayZ is, this is kind of where the story starts. DayZ is a mod for a buy-to-play game called Arma 2, and the mod, in real short terms, allowed you to jump into an island or an area as a survivor, and then the object of the game is to just keep your character alive as long as you can. You do get hungry, you can freeze, you can bleed. There are zombies on the island, and there are other players on the island who are just as likely to kill you as the zombies are as soon as you show your face above the grass, so that they can take whatever you have happened to find on the island. It's a survival game, and a fun one at that. But it is a mod to a previously existing game, and as such, you could call it alpha, and it's buggy. So they're going to release a standalone version of that game. Great. Now enter War Z. The War Z is attempting to do the same style of gameplay. Throw them in an area on a map somewhere in the world, zombies, players, and try to survive. Find food, find weapons, find other people that you can work together with that aren't going to shoot you in the face and take your backpack. So same type of gameplay. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Hammerpoint says they'd been making the War Z for years. I'm rolling War Inc. stuff, video on top of this on YouTube, because most of the assets for War Z you can see were already used in War Inc., and that has to do with some of the relationships with creators. Now, War Inc.'s the free-to-play game, so that's where we're kind of tying this all together. And now, since the game launched, Sajiro, did you buy it on Steam, or did you buy it from their site? When did you get it? Tell us a little bit about this.
I bought the game probably, I'm going to say probably a month and a half ago, or maybe right before November. Or not November, but actually when Thanksgiving. Before it came out on Steam, I was playing DayZ.
So you were in the beta, in quotes.
Yeah, I bought the $15 version of it. And I wanted to check it out and see what it, to see how it compared to DayZ. I mean, it is a little bit different than DayZ. Some of the things about it, I like a little bit differently. Some of the things I don't like, but it's kind of in that niche of what people are playing in. It's kind of the, people are into the zombie apocalypse,
right.
SHTF situation, and that game is just kind of hot. So I kind of, it's something fun. I enjoy it. PvP's fun, so it was one of those things I wanted to take a look at.
So it was in the beta, and you played it and everything, and then all of a sudden it showed up on Steam kind of out of nowhere as version 1.0, and it was labeled as a Foundation release. Now, Brim, if I tell you version 1.0, what does that signify? What does that tell you about the state of the game? That's released, right? 1.0.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, and that's what most people seeing it on Steam that were surprised it was there. I got caught by surprise. I said, wow, I didn't know that was coming out already. Now, the Steam description included, and here's where it had already received some bad press for, people assuming that they were copying DayZ and that, they were trying to put this out as fast as they could. So it already had some negative press. But when it launched on Steam, the description of the War Z included features that weren't in the game yet, listed as part of the game features. It wasn't a coming soon. It wasn't a will be updated with. It was game features. Boom. Here you go. Things like multiple maps that were 100 to 400 kilometers. At launch, there was one map that was arguably not even 100 kilometers. Servers that could support up to 100 people. All servers were capped at 50 at launch on Steam. Now, please keep in mind, some of these things have changed. We're going back and talking about this at the request of a lot of viewers. Some of these things have changed since then, like the server cap that you can now have 100 people. So credit where it's due, but at the time, they were listed on the Steam article or description page, and you could not get these features. So this caused a lot of controversy, false advertising, that type of thing. People were very upset. And GameSpy did an interview with Sergey Titov. Did you guys get a chance to read that interview?
Oh, he's making friends.
Yeah, I read that too.
He didn't do himself any favors here. And I gotta say, kudos to the GameSpy team, in particular Dan Stapleton, who really kind of kept hammering the questions as they weren't being answered. Kudos to Dan on just a very good interview. Whether or not you like how rough he might have been, I feel, based on some of these answers, that it was totally justified. So Sergey Titov did this interview, and basically it boils down to, if you haven't read it, if you misunderstood what the features of the game were, that's your fault. Because to them, up 50 players definitely counts as up to 100 players. And that it's your fault that you have misconstrued the claims that were made. Yeah. This caused a whole nother controversy in which Steam ripped the game off of its servers, off of its services, and offered refunds, which we all know Steam hates and is very stingy about.
Which makes it a big deal.
which makes it a pretty big deal. Offered refunds to anybody that purchased the game on Steam that felt they were misled. They would offer you a refund. If you wanted to keep the game, fine. You didn't have to get a refund, but the option was there. So Sergey Titov basically blamed gamers for reading the description wrong. And it all ended there, right, Brem? Everything was hunky-dory after that.
In what magical land?
Yeah, because then the War Z received official notice that the trademark department in the United States suspended their application for the title The War Z because it was too similar to the upcoming movie World War Z. How they said it was too similar to the movie and not the books, which were previously existing anyway. I don't know. But anyway, that's owned by Paramount. So there's problems there. Does that mean the War Z has to change their name? No. They could probably fight it or fill out the application a little differently. A lot of times, you know, having a lawyer fill it out instead of your PR department is a good idea. So they could probably fight this with the trademark department and get it. The problem is the game's received so much bad press that, Sajiro, you got Paramount on the other side just waiting to sue them, right?
Yeah, it's probably going to come down the pike, but
you know, we don't want our new movie associated with this game that's generating huge negative publicity.
Well, I think some of the negative publicity is a little overboard. I think that some of the gaming community tends to go a little prima donna on certain things.
Ooh, all right. Let's finish giving viewers the update, and then I'll be interested to see where you're going with that. So they get the trademark suspension for being too similar to World War Z. That happened in mid-November, but really became news in mid-December, which means Hammerpoint knew about it for a month. So is a name change in the works? It could be. It may just be easier to change it at this point. And then most recently, the servers are having a huge problem getting hacked. And as of a day or two ago, there was an announcement on the forums that new software has been implemented in War Z to control botting, and all bans from here on out are permanent. So here's to hoping that it only actually targets bots and not actual players if all bans are permanent. So the servers are getting hacked badly, and after they've restored a lot of services, they're got nailed with a huge DDoS attack. I mean, it goes on and on and on. We're not even mentioning the reviews that people have pumped out where the game's buggy and this and this and this and this. Total Biscuit's first look did not do them any favors. Keep in mind, Total Biscuit's first look was the day it launched on Steam, so some of the issues that he mentions have also been resolved. But check out that. I personally don't play War Z. I do play DayZ. I've never once played War Z, so I'm not going to be hypercritical of the game itself. Let's start there. So, Jero, you play it. Tell us about the gameplay, how it's evolved. Respond to these people that are giving it these reviews that are just, it's the worst game ever to hit the face of the earth.
You know, probably most of the people that are making those comments are people flaming on forums that actually haven't played the game. I mean, yeah, it's buggy. DayZ's buggy. World of Warcraft has bugs. Every game has bugs in it. Yeah, I think that them launching it on Steam was probably a little premature. But like everything else, it wasn't Sergey who wrote the description of the game. It's probably somebody in their PR department who sent a final, and they're probably rushing to try to get the game out, to get launched, to get coverage, like everybody else in the world's trying to make money and push it out. Yeah, it was probably a little premature, but I mean, the game itself is fun. I mean, you can go on twitch.tv and you can find people playing this all day long. The PvP is fun. You know, it is interesting. There's a lot of things where people are server hopping and taking weapons and, just sniping people. But, I mean, the same thing happens in DayZ as well. People go, they camp areas, they get all the weapons, and then they log out, and then they kill noobs, or people who just get the game. But that's not going to be anything different you're not going to find in any other game, whether it be, a something Z or a MOBA or a first-person shooter. I mean, sometimes I think the community out there is a little too critical on that. I mean, the gameplay yeah, it's buggy. It's in a beta alpha stage. It's not finished. You know, they're still developing it. There's a lot of things that are probably going to come down that are going to make it more fun, but some of the things I like picking up items, you know, that's a little different than DayZ. But I mean, if you put them side by side, they're almost the same. Some of the things I like is, you know, when you die, you can't play that character for a couple hours. You know, so you only get like 4 or 5 slots of characters, and when you die, you lose that. In DayZ, you know, you just, okay, respawn. You can just respawn over and over and over and go find weapons and go kill people again or kill zombies. But I think part of it is I think a lot of the player base has forgotten that the game is a zombie survival, and instead of just jumping in the game and finding the nearest person and then just say, hey buddy, you want to team up, and then killing him and taking his stuff, versus actually trying to team up and actually playing the game as it's designed to be, versus just shooting each other like you're playing Halo. You know, maybe try to do that. But yeah, I think they've got a lot of bad press. But what company have we not talked about in the last year that hasn't published a game that didn't get bad press or didn't do something that somebody didn't agree with, that people can easily sit at home and say, well, this game's crap? I think sometimes people are a little too critical about things when they're just, it's easy to be critical when you're anonymous.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, comments on YouTube for every video out there will show you that.
Yeah.
And now, see, I would agree with you to a point, and I'm not going to touch the gameplay. As I've said, I've never played it. I have no right to speak on the gameplay. I've only seen videos, and there's a lot of things that go into whether or not it's buggy that may or may not be the game, so I'm not going to comment on the gameplay. I will play devil's advocate on one thing in particular that you said that I do feel comfortable speaking about. You said that this game has bugs, DayZ has bugs, World of Warcraft has bugs, and I totally agree. But this game was marketed as version 1.0 and labeled as a foundation release, which in the GameSpy interview, Sergey Titov did everything to not have to claim that this was an official release, when all flags indicated this was looking like, on Steam to customers, an official release. DayZ's in an alpha.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft has a quest bug here and there. You know, a quest bugs out, a boss bugs out and resets. They weren't horrible, game-breaking mechanics. Where DayZ or War Z has suffered from some of those, and they will readily admit it on their forums. They're having a huge problem with botters. So I think there's some of this bad press is justified. At least in my eyes, especially when Sergey Titov did the interview, and really, if you haven't read the interview, it's funny. Go read it on GameSpy. It was like almost, it took 7 or 8 questions before he was even willing to admit that maybe the Hammerpoint PR department kind of screwed up when they sent Steam the description. But he was even defending that at the beginning of the article. So I'm with you, and I'm going to take your word on gameplay and the changes they're making. All I know is that it's not just these other media outlets that are giving it bad press. The War Z forums are a mess, from players and people that have been banned. It's just, there's problems right now. Brim, what's your take on this whole thing?
Well, I mean, it's definitely not a good situation all around. I think, what's his name again?
Sergey?
Yeah, he's got to be very careful with his next words.
Yeah, he's issued a number of different apology statements on the forums too, and but then by the same token, you can see some of his replies on things like the trademark suspension. They turn right back around again. All in all, what does this do for the gaming industry? I mean, this can't be good news for, or good for the gaming industry from an outsider looking in, seeing this type of thing happen, right, Brim? Or does it just not matter? It's just one crazy kooky company that maybe tried to go and scam a buck. You know, maybe that's how it's viewed outside the game industry? I don't know.
I could go ask my fiance. She knows nothing about games. We can get her input on this.
Yeah, just don't tell her your laptop's broken.
Yeah, no, we fixed it. It's all good.
What do you think, Sajiro?
I mean, I think the company as a whole did a cash grab. They said, look how popular DayZ is. It's a mod for a game that came out, 3 years ago?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Let's put something out. Let's make some money off of it. And like every other, I mean, you probably have boxes on your shelves of things that you bought in the last 5 years that didn't pan out because they were pushed out too fast. And then the community is going to demolish any gaming company that's going to push something out that they give promises to, and then the thing flops. I mean, the gaming community is brutal.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I think it was a cash grab. I think it was, I mean, I have fun playing it. It was $15. $15, big deal. But I think the company was, let's get this out there before DayZ comes out with their,
which is right around the corner.
Their free game that's going to come out that they're going to give out for nothing, or however they release it, whether they have a cash shop. I mean, DayZ has a cash shop. I think the purchase price, they still have it on their website to make a little extra cash flow. I think it's actually, they built it around a free-to-play model.
Right.
Because why would you have a cash shop item and then make it be...
Well, that's another thing that I was wondering about with the War Z, though, is the point of the game is it's a survival game. Why can I buy food and stuff on the cash shop? Doesn't that defeat the point? It's a survival game. Yeah. Let me go buy 7 cans of tuna before we start. And then, so I was on a plane. I had a crate of tuna cans as the plane went down. I survived, and so did my tuna. Now I have to survive. I don't know. All in all, I will tell you this. Because of the bad press, everything I've seen, the way the forums for War Z are handled, reading their forums and seeing issues from players that have, max status on the forums and have been playing for so long, I would not play this game unless it was gifted to me. There's just no way I would spend a dime to play this. Now, take that for what it's worth. I'm a potential customer that is not going to buy it, based on everything I've seen and read. And obviously I'm a gamer that's a potential customer. Brim, you?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch this game with a 10-foot pole.
And then you have people like Sajiro who you've played it and will continue to play it. Right?
Yeah, it's something that, as long as I continue to have enjoyment. I mean, there are times that I have logged into the game and I'll spawn in an area and I'm, walking distance, 2 minutes from a town, and I walk in and there's 8 guys camping the town, just sniping everybody, and I get frustrated and say, forget it.
Right.
But I mean, the same thing happens in DayZ at times. I jump on a server, hey, there's 25 people on it. I go to one area and, bam, you're dead.
It's certainly an interesting topic. Brought it up as it relates to War Inc. since Sergey was involved in, what is that, Arctos, I think is the name of the company?
Yeah.
That some overlap there between the two and War Inc. assets being used in the War Z. Let us know what you think. If you're playing it, give us some info in the comments below. Are some of the changes, the bot fixes and things like that, are they working? Is the game getting any better? What's Sergey's attitude like? I have read things on the forums where he seems very humble and, hey, we apologize, but then a week later something else goes up that he responds not too well to. So let us know what you guys think. While you're there below making your comments, click on the link to subscribe, come on over to MMOBomb.com. Right now we are celebrating over 1 million unique hits to the website in December, gang. Ooh, baby. Over 1 million unique worldwide hits in December. We've got beta key giveaways all over the site. Also, don't forget to come on over to twitch.tv/MMOBomb and click follow so that you can get an email every time our channel goes live. That at the very least, that's every Monday and Wednesday at 2 Pacific for an hour of Bomb Live free-to-play streaming. Speaking of bombs, let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. Brim, you're up first, my friend.
Oh boy. I have a kind of an interesting dub bomb. It's kind of going for Warframe, but more specifically, it's going to a viewer that is playing Warframe. I'm not going to give his last name, but his first name is Justin, and he and I have been doing the Twitter thing, where actually a lot of viewers have been hitting me up lately. And he sent me one a couple days ago, and he said, Brim, not sure if you've gotten a chance to play Warframe, but it is definitely worth it. Very similar to Mass Effect. So that is when I decided to send you an email and get probably, one of the last beta keys that were available?
I sent you the link because you said, hey, can you get me a beta key? And I said, we've actually posted them on the site already. Here's the link. And then when I visited the link, there was like 300 left. We had 10,000 on there. And so I grabbed you one.
Yeah, so like I said, been playing off and on all day. I love the game. It's great. And actually, I will be joining another viewer, X-Lite, here in a little bit on some more Warframe.
Nice. There's a lot of people giving that game the weekly bomb. Lots of da-bombs. I only wrote 1 or 2 in the show notes, but man, it was da-bomb after da-bomb after da-bomb. Sajiro, you're up.
I am going to give a da-bomb, even though it's not free to play, for the War Z. Not just for their gameplay. Not for that. For, you know, you've got a company, you've got a producer, Sergey, who's completely under fire from the entire community. I'm sure that there's other game managers out there that have dealt with the community and been under fire. And we know that there's people in our past that we've dealt with that have blown up. Just giving them a da-bomb for, you know, keeping it out there and not completely folding under the pressure of the community. They can be nasty. They can be ugly. Keep up the good work. I'm having fun playing your game. I won't buy anything up through Cash App, though, but keep it up.
And I'm going to give an A-bomb to War Z and to Sergey Titov and Hammerpoint for it being a blatant cash grab. Oh, I'm sorry. That was not my weekly bomb. Let me find my real one here. I can just hear Sajiro seething right now.
No. I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm just so negative about that whole situation.
I thought you were being serious.
I am being serious, but that's not the bomb I sent you guys for this week's show.
I mean, if you want to go read forums other than like War Z, if you think the War Z forums are bad, go log into the Riot Games forums and read those.
Yeah, you're totally right. I mean, you're 100% right. But you're also talking about a community that's known for its negativity, where you think the community behind War Z would be a little more supportive of them liking. If you like the game, then you should be a little more supportive on the forums, given what's going on.
I'm starting to think that the players that are playing War Z that are on the forums bashing it are people who got banned from the tribunal on League of Legends. That's why they're so negative. Be nice to each other. You won't.
I don't
better
know.
Time.
Gamers aside, the whole thing just stinks to me, and
it definitely.
I don't trust Hammerpoint, I don't trust Sergey, and I won't play the War Z. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe Sajiro's absolutely right, and I'm missing out on a good game. Oh well, I'll play something else. My real bomb, though, is still an A bomb, just not to that company. This time it's to AsiaSoft, which is weird because last week the ladies and I all kind of gave AsiaSoft a thumbs up for the way they handled the Ragnarok Online 2 beta being delayed and how they totally took ownership and were totally apologetic and they, it's all us, it's not you, we're sorry, blah, blah, blah. And kudos to them. Now this week I got to turn around and give them an A-bomb. The beta situation has exploded there. First it got delayed. And they touted the beta as, the first English version of RO2, but didn't put, and said, hey, our servers are going to be located here, but didn't put any indication as to who could play. There's just, okay, if you're in Europe or the United States and you want to connect, you may have some lag. There's no North American servers, but it's in English, so have fun. The day of, or I should actually say the night before beta, there starts popping up on AsiaSoft RO2 Facebook page how it was only going to service 4 different countries. The game RO2 game service was not going to be offered anywhere else due to issues with licenses between AsiaSoft and Gravity. So there was not an official IP block, but it was being advertised as if the game was IP blocked. They were saying the RO2 game service will not be available. But they never actually came out and said IP block. So that caused some issues. And then on top of that, 2 days after that, it was kind of announced that there is an informal IP block on AsiaSoft's Facebook page. Someone had posted, hey, I just need clear information. Indonesia player has an IP block or no? If yes, I'll stop trying to log in. Just tell me. If you're a good provider, you should answer our questions. But since the fail open beta date on December 27th, you never answer us anymore. Please, if you have public relations staff, answer. Finally, AsiaSoft did answer. This was on Thursday, and they said, hi there, we're contractually bound to service players only in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. If you know of players outside of this region who are able to access the game, they may be deliberately accessing the game via a different IP through third-party software that is not endorsed by AsiaSoft nor Gravity. Thanks. So they did confirm kind of an IP block. Then I find out today it's still not really an IP block. You can still access the game. You delete your old beta client, get the new one, and do some funky things. You don't even have to proxy. You can still get in. AsiaSoft has no idea what they're doing and who they're supposed to be blocking, if they're supposed to be blocking anybody. They're just giving us the PR speak stuff that they're supposed to so that Gravity isn't mad at them. Spunkify and I were not able to access the game once this beta started. However, Spunkify has since been able to get into the game as of this morning. This is Sunday the 6th that we're recording this. He was able to get into the game this morning. It's just a huge mess of a situation that AsiaSoft really should have been upfront about and put into place any restrictions that needed to be so that there was no confusion. Ridiculous to have confusion for a beta.
IP blocks are like a 3-day-old can of sardines. They're just not fun for anybody.
You have problems.
What?
Cupcake says, playing Warframe. This is my bomb. Action-packed, exploding bodies, slicing bodies. It's pretty much a ninja game in space.
Pew pew.
What's that next one there, Brim?
It's from Sebastian NG. I have a bomb for the Secret World. First and foremost, their buy-to-play model is excellent when it has a subscription fee. I've always thought of trying the game out, but could not afford it. Now I can. Bought the game at the end of the year. What a great game. Shut up.
Sorry.
What a great game to start the new year. Secondly, I really like how it feels different from other MMOs. The quests are interesting and scary at times. The world feels great. It certainly suits the game. I can finally catch a break from fantasy MMOs. Maybe I need that long time ago. The community is awesome, where everyone is ready to help. Thank you, Sebastian.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I've been playing a lot of the Secret World. I know it's not free to play, but it essentially was for me since I had already owned it from release. So when they said buy to play, they said, oh, we're going buy to play. I said, well, I already bought that months ago. Sweet, it's free for me.
Nice.
Yes, it worked out. And I've been playing it literally every day. While this episode is rendering, I'll be on the Secret World. Sajiro, what's that next one?
This is going to be from Penetrator. He's talking about the game Akia. He says, so it's like noon.
I think that's Aka.
What is it again?
Aka. A-I-K-A. Or Ika.
Ika. So it's like noon. He wants to play the game, do some quests, chat with his friends, and then he sees the servers are down. He's like, okay, fine. Calls a buddy of his, goes to the PC room, plays League of Legends for like 3 hours, comes home, sees the servers are still down. Long story short, what kind of stupid, idiotic company shuts down the servers for maintenance from 1900? You couldn't even go to the Akia website. What man shuts down the servers on the 1st of January for more than 8 hours? So I'm giving an A-bomb for G-Potato's site and their game Aka for shutting down the servers on the 1st of January in the time of joy and holidays. A bunch of people not doing their job.
Penetrator kind of angry there.
I think somebody, I think I did that in the past before. Unplugged the server, plugged the coffee maker in, didn't realize it.
Yeah, somebody tripped on the wire and they're trying to locate it. That is kind of odd for, like, you think, okay, well, why would they take it down on the 1st of January? Knowing that a lot of people are probably off work, off school, that's kind of a high traffic time.
Shame on you, G Potato. You could have made some money from Penetrator.
Yeah, missed out. Stojanowski says, "The bomb for Warframe." Here it is again. "This game looks nice, probably one of the best for 2013. That's a bold statement 6 days into the year.
I was going to say, that's...
So 359 more days.
PlanetSide 2 would like to say hello.
Warhammer's Rule has a question for us. Says, "Hey, do you think the Elder Scrolls Online might somehow be or end up free to play?" Brim.
Yes. How soon?
All right, yeah, let's narrow this down, because eventually every game will go free to play or just close.
If
So
we're just going off this question,
just on launch, do you think the Elder Scrolls Online launches as a free to play game?
probably not.
What model do you think they're taking?
I'm gonna say buy.
Buy to play?
I don't think it'll be subscription.
Sajero?
At most, I see like a try to play. I can't see them going free to play.
Like a free to level 20 type deal?
Maybe free for the first mission or something like that. I don't know exactly what model they would use, but I can't see them not doing anything but buy to play for that right now.
No sub based, you don't think?
No, I think they're going to follow the same route that Guild Wars 2 did.
I agree. I don't think there's any way this game launches free to play. I think they go buy to play, a la the Guild Wars 2 model. Here's something interesting I was talking to some other people about this week, and get your two takes on it. If you would have talked to me 6 months ago, I would have told you that free to play is certainly the future for gaming. And I still think free to play has a huge future in front of it, right? However, I think Guild Wars 2's success with the buy-to-play model has drastically changed future models. Do you agree?
No, I agree completely.
I think just because of how successful that was, it has put buy-to-play as just an option that can be incredibly powerful that companies really didn't think could have been to begin with. I'm sorry, buy-to-play in conjunction with a cash shop, of course. So I still think free-to-play gaming has a huge future. I think buy-to-play's got a hell of a lot stronger with the Guild Wars 2 success.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks like this. It's like in the Free Software Foundation world, people that work for that, they write software in their daytime job for money. They do that. It's their day job, whether they work for a company or they freelance. And then they work on other things and give it to the community for free. It just costs so much money to make a game. I just don't think that the free-to-play market, you're not going to get Guild Wars 2 in a free-to-play model. There's a lot of free-to-play games out there that are really good. I just don't think they're going to be, everybody's trying to jump on different things. I mean, it's like League of Legends. League of Legends is the most expensive free-to-play game I have ever played, but it is. I've probably spent more on that than I've spent. I don't even want to talk about it, but I guess it really just depends on how much money whoever is generating the revenue and giving money to the company to develop the game, how much they put into it really depends on the quality of the game that's going to come out.
So after all that, Sajiro's answer is no.
No.
It'll be buy to play.
Well, I missed you guys. I haven't been on, since the...
We missed you too. Question of the week last week. What games did you guys jump into during the holiday break that you maybe hadn't played before, and what was your review of it? Ice Coffee says, I played Terra, the Discovery Edition, during the holidays, because there's a lot of rumors swirling that since Korea JP has decided to go free to play Terra NAEU will follow suit. The combat is really fun and addicting, however the questing is really lacking. Well, I hope it goes free to play anyway. I don't want a game as fun as this to go down. If only Terra and the Secret World somehow learned from each other, gameplay and storyline-wise. I couldn't have summed that up any better. I really couldn't. I love Terra from a combat perspective. Everything else bored me.
Yeah.
And I've actually been thinking the last day or two about resubbing for a month just to check out some of the updates. But I held off because there probably hasn't been a lot changed when you haven't played a game for months and months, and when you launch it, the updater takes a minute and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's only a minute and a half of download and install time for all the updates since you last played it months ago, that probably means not a lot's changed for you.
Sounds all right.
The Meh Monkey says, question of the week, I played Warframe, got myself a flaming sword, dismembered limbs, loving it. All about Warframe, man. Brim, that's your game now, I guess.
I
You
guess.
have a lot of people to play with.
I hope so.
To your point, Sajero Maxiclone says, jumped into Path of Exile beta. Really liked how smoothly it played, and it was just a blast. It was more fun soloing through, though, because I felt like playing as a bow-maining Shadow. My mage teammates were way too quick at killing everything. Something that I really don't like was that somewhat high requirements for the game. It crashed my computer and graphics card several times while running on high, so I'm somewhat forced to play it in medium. But, I gotta say, even medium graphics still look great. I agree. I love Path of Exile. So, Jero, what are you thinking? You mentioned playing it.
Path of Exile is a blast. I like it. Reminds me of Diablo 2, since Diablo 3 was terrible.
You mean the good Diablo?
The good Diablo. The Diablo...
Yeah, we don't even put numbers on them anymore. We just say the good Diablo,
the good Diablo,
the bad Diablo, and the first Diablo.
Not the Jay Wilson version of the Barbarian.
Right. Justin Boyer says, another great show. To bomb to magicman and Demina for being an epically cute/hilarious couple. Well, thank you. The game I played over the break was Warframe. Honestly, for a review, not much can be said other than it's essentially a Mass Effect MMO. Great story, great play style. See, I disagree with the story. Great story, great play style, great mechanics, and the cash shop isn't pay to win. A definite 5 out of 5 in my book. I don't think it has a great story. Not yet. I'm still in the early going, so we'll see if it ramps up, but I don't think it has a great story yet. Ninja Nick says, why don't you guys review the updates to RuneScape? And we've gotten that question once or twice. We do. We talk about, I think, Sajero, you were on the last one, when we talked about, I think it was the combat patch.
Yeah.
And we do, keep you guys appraised of big updates to RuneScape. The problem with us having a long discussion about RuneScape, besides, here's what they're changing, what do you guys think of the changes, is none of the hosts, there's 8 hosts that are, in and out of this show every day or every week for the last year. None of us play RuneScape to the point where we would speak intelligently about it. I've played it before, but I didn't play it for long.
Yeah, I played it. I just haven't spent a lot of time with it.
Yeah, we just kind of give you the news on some big updates, give our opinion on what we think of the update itself, and then usually we defer to viewer comments. So, yeah, if you play RuneScape, give us some comments. Michael Fraga says, I've actually tried Salem during the holidays, but it takes way too long to level in the game. When I say level, I mean learn new things, build awesome houses and stuff. But it feels like the game were created by a more supported community. With more money, it would have been way better. But the game's idea is just sensational. Enjoy the winter, guys. Great show. Keep it up. Thank you, Michael. Question of the week for everybody, since we had to answer it. What do you think the model, pricing-wise, for the Elder Scrolls Online is going to be on launch day? Free to play, buy to play with a cash shop, buy to play with no cash shop, subscription-based, some model I'm not even thinking of. What do you think it's going to be? Put your comments below. Make sure you leave your weekly bombs. Without your bombs, there's no weekly bomb segment. So, let's throw it around for the final word. Brim, you are up first.
Well, thank you for another good week. Glad to be back. Glad to take another week off. There were no derps this week, so guys, hit me up on the Twitter.
Derp.
See, man?
Derp.
Hit me up on Twitter at BRIMTTIN. I need those derps.
Derp.
And check me on Warframe.
Derp.
BRIMTIN. Shut up, God.
Derp.
I'm hanging up.
I'm sorry, what's that Twitter? I don't know. It was something like BRIMLIKESMEN, something like that. I don't know.
Brim Lickens. Is that what you just spelled?
Oh, when you watch or listen to the playback of this, you're just gonna laugh. So what is your Twitter? Brim Lickens.
That's what it sounded like you spelled.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What's your Twitter?
BRIMTTIN.
Derp. Sajiro, final word.
I'm going to give a shout out, final word to Combat Starfish and K-Sork. I was playing League of Legends the other day, and a couple of the fans sent me a message on Twitter. Logged on to League of Legends, played a couple games with those guys. Been playing games with those guys. Been having a lot of fun. Hopefully see you guys around some more.
They're good peeps. I talked to Combat Starfish on Steam an awful lot.
Yep.
Yep. So for Brim and for Sajiro, I'm Magicman. You can follow me on Twitter at magicman1. That's MAGICKMANN1. You can hit me on the email magicman@MMOBomb.com, spelled the normal way. Don't forget your weekly bombs. Like, subscribe. Come on over to MMOBomb.com for all of the free-to-play news you're ever going to need. And until next time, gang, stay safe. Brim Lickens. We'll see you on the servers.